Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Stitching with the Sarahs. This is episode 4. Today is July 24th, 2024. So, welcome. We are so glad you're here. If this is your first time joining us, allow me to do a little introduction. My name is Sarah, and I live in Ohio. And I have my own Flosstube channel called Sarah's Stitchery. And I'm on Instagram as Stitchy Sarah Reads. And this is my friend Sarah. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Sarah. My channel is Handmade by Sarah W. And I'm on Instagram under the same name as well. And I live in Alabama.
Yes. So as you can see, we are filming from two different locations because we live not close to each other, but that does not stop us from being good friends. And we just love talking about stitching together and stitching things together. And so we're here to share with you all of the things that we have been stitching together. So I'm really excited about that. And because of the fact that we stitch so many things together, we even have our own hashtag. We use the hashtag stitching with the Sarahs, same name as our segment here. And so if you would love to stitch anything with us that we're stitching, please feel free to join us and use our hashtag, tag us. We love to see all of the things you guys are stitching with us. So it's just a fun way for us to include all of you because you're all welcome to stitch with us. This isn't just a Sarah thing, it's an everybody thing. So we have a lot of fun things to show you guys today. We have a couple of FFOs. We have a finished object. We have some new starts and we have some whips that we've been working on. So let's dive right into it. So we're going to start with our FFOs. And if you're new to cross stitch, the acronym FFO stands for fully finished object. So these things we've finished stitching them and we've turned them into things that we can display in our home. So Sarah's going to start us off.
Okay, so our first FFO is a stitch that we did together, and it was actually a pretty quick stitch, and it is a strawberry pincushion. You want to go ahead and show them? Okay, ready?
Yes.
So here are our little strawberry pincushions. And so these are by the designer Whilst Iris Naps. And you can find her on Instagram and find her link to her website there. But this was just a sweet little stitch. As soon as we both saw this, we loved it and wanted to stitch it. And so we did use, each of us used different floss, different fabrics. So I'll tell you what I used. And I'll also tell you about these little pins here because I made these for us. And I'll take one out just so you can see. So
They're so
cute.
cute.
Thank you. And okay, so I used a Picture This Plus fabric, and mine was 18 count in the color Jade. And then I used all the called for DMC colors on this. And one difference between Sarah and I is that I stitch on Aida and she stitches on linen. So you're going to see that theme throughout the video on all of our projects. Mine are all going to be on Aida and hers are all going to be on linen. And a lot of times we don't use the same color too. So that's pretty fun.
And if you look at both of them, they're both amazing.
Yes.
I
So
love it.
cute. Yes.
Yes. So, like Sarah said, she made those little pins. She sent them to me in the mail as a surprise. And I was so happy because when I made this little pin cushion, I was like, oh, darn, I don't have any pins to put in it. Then I got the mail.
Yeah.
So, mine is stitched on a 40 count Cyprus by Fiber on a Whim. And I did a floss conversion to Roxy Flossco flosses. And I did put a picture of the flosses that I used in my Instagram. So if you are interested in my floss conversion, you can go check out my Instagram, Stitchy Sarah Reads. I think our colors are pretty similar. Maybe my red's just a little bit darker, but
Yes.
they
I
are
like how
so
yours
sweet.
looks too. Yeah.
Very
And
pretty.
then what we decided to do on the bottom, because the chart was just you just used a square, like you didn't stitch anything, and so we decided to stitch our initials and the year on the back of that.
Yes, thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
alphabet with me, Sarah.
Yes.
They're so
course.
cute. This was my first time doing a finish like this. So obviously I figured it out. It was a
Mhm.
little tricky at first. I think getting started is probably the trickiest part, just attaching those first two pieces. So I attached my top to my sides first, and then I did the bottom. So I think just getting started gave me a little trouble. But once I got into the groove of it, as you can see, I
Yeah.
got it done. I did
It's so
it.
fun. And this is such a fun little thing to display too. And I think too, like when you start to round the corner, like you'll get in a groove and then you round the corner, it might slow you up for a second, but then you get like right back in the groove. So it really isn't that hard to put
No.
together. I love a finish like this or a biscornu.
Yes,
So
and I
cute.
know you mentioned this in your video, Sarah, because as I mentioned before, Sarah and I both have our own floss tubes, and so Sarah had shown her finish in her most recent video, and she mentioned how you stitch this in three parts. So if you haven't done a finish like this before and you're curious how that looks when you're stitching it, you stitch the top part as one piece, and then the side is like a continuous strip that you just connect at one of the
Yeah.
corners there, and then the bottom is also its separate piece. So there are three separate pieces that you're sewing together there at the end. But like Sarah said, it went pretty quick. It was a very quick little stitch and
Mhm.
very fun.
Yes, I think we only stitched on these like a couple days or something. They were pretty quick.
Yeah.
But also, if you go on both of our Instagrams, you can see these not put together. And I actually did a reel because I kind of took pictures as I went. Because I do get questions because I have done several finishes like this before. And so I thought that would just be really helpful to see the different phases of putting it together. So if you go on my Instagram, Handmade by Sarah W, you can look at the last reel that I posted and you can see the different steps.
Yeah, I like that, especially when it's something you haven't done before. Seeing somebody else
Mm.
put it together makes it seem not so scary.
Yes, and it's not scary. It is not.
Now, we did it.
We sure
Okay.
did.
Yeah, we have one more fully finished object, and I know we've both shown this on our own channels, but this is the first time we're showing them together. So we stitched Strawberry Faire by October House Fiber Arts, and here it is. It is so cute.
So
So
cute.
when I was at StitchCon, I started this with some friends there, and Sarah started it. She was not at StitchCon with us, but she started it with us in spirit. And so we all stitched this up. And I forgot to mention before that these stitches, the one before and this one, are for the Strawberry Moon Sow that
Yes.
Marjorie Maid was hosting. So that's the hashtag Strawberry Moon Sow. And
Yes.
so many people stitched strawberry things this summer. It was really fun to see that.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, we both finished them into little pillows. I'll tell you about mine first, the details. So I stitched mine on a 40 count cream and sugar by Fiber and on a whim. And I believe I used all of the called for DMCs. And that's how it turned out. I made it into a little pillow. I did this little green polka dot fabric on the back and some lady dot chenille around the edges. I think it turned out perfect. How about yours, Sarah?
So cute. Yeah,
Thank you.
so I did mine on an 18 count Zweigart Ada in the color platinum. That's one of my favorite, just off the bolt colors. I just think it goes good with so many different colors. Sorry if that light is, there we go. And I did use the DMC colors. That's better.
That's
And I did a
interesting because my red
chenille.
looks darker.
I know. I don't know if it's my light. But it's like every time I get close, well, how many strands did you use? One?
One, uh-huh.
Me too. But I used all the called for colors.
It
So
might just be our different lighting, yeah.
it might
Because yours looks
be.
like red. It's beautiful.
Yes, thank you. And so when I was deciding on what trim to do, because initially I thought I would do a red chenille trim, and then I pulled out this fabric, this red gingham, and I thought, oh, how cute would that be to have the green and the red? And I just realized yours is like the opposite of that. I didn't even think about that. How cute.
Yeah.
I love that. So I think that they both look good with the different color trim.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Love it.
cute. I've got mine in
Yes.
my little dough bowl in my dining room. It's so cute.
Yes. I have mine like in my foyer on a cute little table. And yeah, so that was by October House Fiber Arts. Did we say that?
Yes.
And okay, yes. Perfect.
So those were our FFOs, our fully finished objects.
Yes. Okay, so up next, we both finished stitching on something, although we haven't fully finished it yet. We haven't like framed it or anything. And this is a stitch that we both started at the end of January. This was actually a birthday start for Carrie Tiger Lily Designs. Oh, I'm sorry. You ready?
Oh, no, let's do it.
And oh, look at our different fabrics. I love to see that. Love
Yes.
that. Okay, so this is Anne Richardson, and it's from my sister's samplers. And so the called for floss on this are the Vikki Clayton silk. Yes, I didn't have mine over here. Perfect. They are the Vikki Clayton silks, and there were only like I think 7 colors. And so I thought, what a perfect way to try the Vikki Clayton silks for the first time is with this, because I had never used them before. Beautiful colors. I had wanted this chart since it came out. Every time I tried to get it, it was out of stock. And so I kind of just gave up. And then when Carrie decided to do it for her birthday start, I got it. I was able to get it right away, get the flosses, and Sarah and I just were excited to stitch these pretty colors together. I did mine on an 18 count fiber on a Whim cream and sugar. And what did you do yours?
So I did mine. Sorry, let me get on this side. I did mine on a 40 count Shiloh from Needle and Flax.
Oh, so pretty.
I just love them both.
I do too.
And that's the thing about Sarah and I. Like some things we'll stitch all the same, and other things we'll choose our own fabrics or our own floss, and it's just really fun to see how they both look.
Yes. And I equally enjoy both of those, whether it's the same and the only difference is Ada versus linen,
Yeah.
or if we have like completely different things. I love it.
And we both changed the bottom. At the bottom, it said Anne Richardson. Did you say this already?
No.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to repeat you if you did.
No.
It said Anne Richardson, age 9 years old. And so we changed it to our last names and the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we just got those done this past week. So
yes, just a couple days ago. So now we're ready. Are you going to frame yours?
Yes.
Yeah, I am too. I just need to find a frame.
Me too. So yeah, I'm excited about that. They're really pretty. And
I know. I love those colors.
Yes, definitely.
Very cute.
I love to see them side by side.
Me too. Okay, so that's it for our finishes. That leads us into a couple of new starts. So these are things we haven't shown yet together. The first thing that we started was Summer Folk by Hands On Design. You may remember we did the Spring Folk together. I had hosted a stitch along for that. So, we already have the display board, the folk paddle. So we wanted to keep going with the seasons so that we could keep changing them out every season. So now we are doing summer. And I just love the color palette for this one so much. So,
Me too.
yeah.
And I'm keeping mine in my bag that you gave me for my birthday.
Oh, awesome. I'm keeping
Yeah.
mine in a painted leaf co bag from my mom. It's got bees on it because there's bees in the pattern.
Oh, that's so
Yes.
pretty.
So we're both keeping them in painted leaf co bags.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready to show?
Yes, I'm ready. Sorry, I was
Okay.
holding mine up.
All right, let's do it. So we started in different parts. You started in the middle,
I did.
and I started at the top.
Yes.
And so that's why they look a little bit different. I love this. I love these folk samplers because I know you mentioned this in your video, because each section is like a band. Like in the pattern, it'll say like band A, band B. And so it kind of breaks it up like that for you. And so it never gets boring because you're always stitching something different.
Mm-hmm.
And so Yeah, you can see the differences in ours. They'll start to look a little more similar once we get a little more done. But as you can see, we are definitely using different fabrics. So I'll tell you about mine really quick. I'm using 32 count Driftwood by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I am doing two threads over two. I know we were forgetting to say this before, but prior to this, everything I've shown already, I was only using one strand, but since this is 32 count, I am using two strands and I'm using all the called for DMC. So how about yours, Sarah?
Yes, and the same. I thought about that. I'm really bad about not saying how many strands. So yes, everything else has been two or one strand, and this I am doing two strands. I'm doing a 16 count, and the color is by Picture This Plus, and it's called Earthen, and it's the same one that I used for the spring one as well. I know yours is the called for color. Mine is a lot lighter, but I think it still looks really good with this design. I love the specialty stitches in this design, and I love how Kathy from Hands On Design really gives you such a good diagram. And she also gives it to you in linen or Ada. To me, that's just
Yes.
so appreciated because not everybody stitches on linen, you know? And a lot
Right.
of specialty stitches, it seems like it's catered to that, and you're always adjusting the chart to fit the Ada if that's what you choose to stitch on. So I really
Yeah, that's
appreciate that.
awesome that she does it for both. And I know you mentioned this in your video. She also does a video tutorial. So, you know, I agree with you that the directions that come in the pattern are very easy to follow. But if you're a visual learner and you have to see somebody doing it first, she provides really good video tutorials of the specialty stitches. And
Yes.
it's really cool just to have an opportunity to learn different specialty stitches. I When I do these band samplers, I save the specialty stitches for last. I know that you go for it. You
Yes.
got some in there already, I can see.
Yes. I do each band in order. So there are some here. There we go.
Hmm.
And for those, you use a pearl cotton. So if you've never stitched with that before either, this is a great opportunity to do that. So
Yeah,
highly
I love
recommend these
that.
charts. Yes.
Yeah, I save the specialty stitches and like the back stitching for last, which I probably shouldn't do because like I don't love back stitching. So when I
I
get to the
know.
end, I'm like, oh, I gotta do the back stitching.
Well, that's exactly why I do it the way that I do it because when I'm done, I want to be done. I don't want to go back, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Now I have a question for you because, like, and you guys might not know this, but Sarah and I both stitch in hand, so we don't use like a hoop or a Q snap or anything. However, when I do the specialty stitches on this, I do use a hoop. I have a hard time doing the specialty stitches in hand. Do you do them in hand or do you use a hoop?
I do them in hand.
Do you?
hmm
Look at you.
I never use a hoop. I never use a hoop.
Neither do I, but when I did the spring folk, I had to pull out a hoop. I was having a hard time doing the specialty stitches in hand for some reason.
Yeah.
So
Is it, well, no, I was going to say, are you having trouble seeing it? Because that fabric's dark, but that's, I mean, you would have trouble seeing it on the rest of it if that was the case.
no, I just
It
felt
was
like
just,
especially there were some straight stitches, I guess
mhm.
I forget what they're called. I was having a hard time keeping the same tension on
Oh,
those
yeah.
stitches. And so I needed to use the hoop to hold my fabric taut.
Yeah.
So
Um, Also, I think that you are more, it would bother you more if it wasn't, exactly how you want it. And where I think I'm more like, yeah, it's good enough. It's done. I don't know. Do you think I'm wrong? Like, I think
so you're
because your
trying to
stitching
say
is
I'm a little
beautiful.
anal.
No, I'm not. Your stitching is
I am.
beautiful. But I feel like if something didn't look right, you're more the type that would be like, let me redo this and do
Yeah.
it right. Where I'm like, I'm just going to go for it.
And yours looks amazing.
Oh,
And I'm sure
thanks.
mine doesn't look that bad when I think it does. So
No, no, I promise you it never probably would ever look bad.
yeah, I am that type.
But my sister's like that too. and it's so funny to see the differences in our personality, because especially like with cooking, I don't measure anything. I just do it. And she's like measuring perfectly. And, you know, it's just like a difference in our brain or something. But she's like
see,
that with stitching.
I'm like you with cooking though. Like I do a pinch of this and a sprinkle
Yeah.
of that. I'm not, maybe because I don't want to wash dishes. I don't know. But with my stitching, I'm the opposite.
Oh, that's
It's
so funny.
selective. Anyway, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, no, I never even thought about that. They probably would look better if I did it, but never even crossed my mind.
Well, I was thinking about that because I was talking to a friend. I believe it was our friend Allison, Alley Cat
Mhm.
13. I think she was telling me that she had to use a hoop for the specialty stitches because she also stitches in hand. And
Mhm.
so I was like, I wonder if Sarah does. So I hadn't gotten around to asking you that yet. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure both of y'all's look way better than mine. So
stop. Stop. All right, we got another new start. What is it?
Okay. We have, and I'll show you the pretty bag that mine is in. My friend Paula gave me this for my birthday, and this is from Barefoot Needle Art. They make their own bags there, I guess. And okay, so this was my birthday start this year, and it's Ann Hughes by Quaint Bros Needle Arts. You can see it better. It's on like a really dark fabric, the called for. And this is one where you and I are both using the same fabric, except yours is linen, mine is Ada, but we have the same color. And so it is Seraphim in the color Old Stationery, and we are both using the called for floss. You ready to show?
Yes. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen it since you outlined the house.
I know. I wanted to surprise you.
Oh, it looks so good.
Our lighting must be so different because we are using the same color fabric, and look how much lighter yours looks than mine.
I know. Let me, I'm going to turn down my light and see. Let's see if this helps. Okay. I mean, not really, but maybe a little. It looks
I can
so
assure
different.
you it is the same color.
I mean, honestly, it looks pretty true. Mine does.
Oh, well, so does, well, no, mine's coming across a little darker. So,
Okay.
yeah. Huh.
We'll have to like take
Maybe
a
it's
picture.
me and not you. Yeah, we'll definitely have to take a picture.
Yeah.
But even so, like, I feel like your flowers look darker than mine. That's very interesting.
Well, we said that because remember I said, did I use the right color? Because yours looks so much lighter. And it's that antique rose. Let's see yours.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Yeah, yours looks darker than mine. Yours looks like pinkier.
Didn't we get them both from 123?
I think so.
Or did you already have that one maybe?
I might have already had it because I know I had some of the colors and then I ordered the rest.
That's right. I bet you already had it.
Very interesting.
How funny.
Regardless, they look amazing.
I know.
So yeah, last night I did this whole house. I did the roof and the outline. So
oh my gosh, I was so shocked. You didn't even tell me.
I was like, I'm gonna surprise her today. Because well, I hadn't worked on this. So I went on vacation recently, and so I hadn't worked on your birthday, Sal. And so last night I was like, I'm gonna pull this out and I'm just gonna work on it, work on it, work on it. So I have some progress to show. And so ta-da. But yours is so much more colorful. I haven't used the blues yet or anything, so I can't wait to get into those colors.
Yeah, you have to do that. It's called Black Raspberry Jam, like ASAP. Oh my gosh, this color.
Yes, I was gonna.
How good is that?
I know. I think every pattern should have that color in it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love
And I
this
can't
color.
wait to get to the cottage garden thread, that variegated.
Me too. It's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
We have a
So,
lot of people joining us stitching this, and we do have some hashtags: Anne Hughes B-Day Sal and Sarah's B-Day Sal.
yes. And we will put all of these hashtags down below. You don't have to try to remember them. They'll all
Mm-hmm.
be in the description box. So no
Yeah.
worries. Just
No,
enjoy.
just stitch along and listen and chat with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, this is so fun. I hope you guys feel like you're just like chatting with your friends. Like we are your
Mm-hmm.
friends.
Yes.
We're here to share our love of stitching. Oh, I
Yes.
wanted to share my bag. I'm keeping mine in this handmade by Michelle Lee quilts bag. I picked it for your B-Day, Sal, Sarah, because I know you love blue, and there were so many pretty blues in it. So
Yeah, it is so pretty. I don't have any of her bags, but they are so pretty. I
oh,
love seeing them and pictures of them. And I'm always just like, oh my gosh, those are so good.
her bags are so good, and she as a person is just the sweetest. She's local to me, so I get
Yeah.
to stitch with her sometimes, and she is so sweet. So definitely go check her
Oh,
shop out.
yes, I need to. So those were our two new starts. Everything
Yes.
else, we have
Everything
five
else you've
whips.
seen before, but
Yes.
yeah, but we have progress on them. So
Yes. And so let's tell kind of what we did. After our last video, we stopped
yeah.
recording. We were like, let's make some goals. Because a lot, I think, let's see, one, two, or three of these, three of the five, we are keeping up with each other. So we're saying, let's do this and let's make this our goal for this month. And we'll get that section done and then we'll move to something else. And that has been so helpful in us moving along in these projects and not just piling up all of our whips and just starting all these things and not making a ton of progress. It really has helped me, and I know it's helped
Thing.
you too. Yeah, like
Yeah.
having these common goals. And so we don't always do that. Sometimes we're just stitching the same thing and we'll say, hey, I'm pulling this out tonight, we'll both stitch on it, but we're in completely different places or whatever. But yeah, so the next three, we're in the same spot on all of these.
Yes. So the first one that we're going to show you of our whips is Serenity
Mm-hmm.
by Teresa Kogut. This came out at Market. And it has been super helpful for me to have goals for this because it is so big,
It
and
is.
it can be, especially like the border and stuff like that, some of it can be a little tedious, and so having that goal like, okay, Sarah and I are doing this part, keeps me going, so I won't, just put it aside and not work on it.
Yeah.
So this
And
is
it's
another one.
huge.
Yeah, it's a big one. This is another one that you and I are using the same color of fabric and all the same floss. So,
Yes.
um, oh, and when we're done showing, we got to show our project bag. All right.
Yes.
Are you ready to show it?
Okay, hold on.
I know you got to wrangle that giant
It's
piece of fabric.
huge. Yeah. And it's like bigger than my board, which I feel like my board is bigger than I need, but not for this one.
Not
Okay,
for
I'm
that
ready.
one. Okay, let's do
Okay,
it.
let's do it.
Oh, I got to back up to show this.
Oh my
Mine's so
gosh.
big, I can't even show the whole thing. Goodness
I know.
gracious. Like a blanket. There we go.
Wow. And
So
look
there
at
we
the
are.
difference in our color. We're both using the same color.
Yes, we are. So we're using fiber on a whim latte. I'm using a 40 count. What about you?
18.
And we are using all of the called for floss. Um, yeah, it's just crazy how different our colors are showing up today.
Mm-hmm.
But since you saw
Oh,
it last, we added in that border around the outside, just that single line border around the outside. And we also did those birds and those butterflies on either side of the house. So that's what we've added since we showed it last.
yep.
So we're still working on it. It's a big one, so it's going to take us a little while, but we're going to keep plugging away.
Yep. And I counted and recounted and recounted that border, so it should be right.
Same, I know. That border is so, and it's just a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
I do the trick where I do the half stitches and then every 10th stitch I cross over. So that helps.
So normally I don't do that. And I
Yeah.
didn't do it on the top or the bottom or the right side. But by the time I got to the left, I was like, why am I not doing this? So I did do it over there. But you know, I stitch in hand, so I have this blanket of fabric on me.
Yes.
And I would get like one side complete, then I would take it and lay it on the table. And then I've got my needle and I'm just counting. And I would just go back and forth and just make sure. So hopefully it's good.
That's a lot of counting because one side is over 300 stitches.
It's 338 by 340.
Yeah, so woo,
Yeah.
She's a big one, but she's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too.
And we have special project bags.
Yes.
Here they are. Sarah made these for us.
We gotta show the inside.
Yes. The colors are just perfect for this project.
Yep.
Because I mean, here's the floss.
Yeah.
It matches perfectly.
It does. I love this fabric so much.
Yes. So we will keep plugging away. We're talking about some new goals for this, where we're going to go next. So you'll continue to see progress on Serenity.
Oh yeah, for years to come.
Not years. I hope not years. Goodness.
Okay. We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe once we get the border, it'll go fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the house done.
Right.
You know.
Yep. All right. What do we got next? And I forgot to say, I'm so sorry. I forgot to say that we do have a hashtag that we use for that one. We have the hashtag Serenity with the Sarahs. Yep. So if you're stitching Serenity, feel free to use our hashtag and tag us so we can see your progress.
Please do. We love to see it. It keeps us motivated.
Yes, for real.
We all need all the help we can get on this big one.
Our friend Lori.
Next up, we have a Stacy Nash.
I was just going to say our friend Lori, the Grateful Needle, she stitched Serenity up in no time, and she had it framed, and she had it on the brag table at StitchCon.
Which was in June, and we started in, it was April, I think.
Yeah. She finished that super fast. Anyway, I just had to say that because I was super impressed.
I know. I could not believe, because at first I was like, wow, she's making good progress. And then I was like, she's finished.
She's got it framed.
Good job, Lori. Good job.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Continue.
Okay. We've got a Stacy Nash design, and this is called Sarah's Sewing Bag. We have shown it several times before, but it's a sweet stitch. You sew the bag up, and this is what the other side looks like. So it's a little sewing motion bag once you finish it. So you ready to show?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So here's where we are. We are not using the same fabric on this. And I'm using an 18 count LFA Linens Ada in the color Millstone. And my colors are a combination of some overdyes, some DMC. We both kind of just did our own color conversions because we wanted to start it. We just were kind of like, let's start this right now. So there was no preparation. We had to figure out what fabric and what flosses we wanted to use. And so luckily we both have a pretty good stash and we were able to pull from that and get going. So in the past month, since we showed this on our last Stitching with the Sarahs, what we focused on were these two here and this. That was it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm stitching mine on a 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. And I think you and I are using a lot of the same colors. It was funny because we went to our stash and pulled out the colors we had, which I don't think I had many of the called for. And then we were doing like a DMC conversion, and it was funny when we came back together. We had a lot of the same DMCs pulled. So,
Yep.
And I meant to say I'm using one strand. I keep forgetting to say it, like, but everything I show, with the exception of Summer Folk, is one strand over 2.
Me too. Everything
Yeah.
else.
It looks so pretty. I can't wait to move on with this one. I have to say, I think out of all of the things we're showing, I think this one's my favorite.
Mine too. No, I'm gonna take it back. This and Ann Hughes are like right next to each other for me.
Neck and neck, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Love it.
But before Ann Hughes came to the party, this was it.
Yeah, whenever I stitch on this, I don't want to stop.
Me too, but I also want to drag it out and like not be done because I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's
some
that.
Stitches give you like certain feelings when you stitch on them, and like I'm telling you, I kind of mourn this stitch that's behind me. You can see that. That was my birthday stitch a couple years ago. Like I literally mourn not having that. I'm like, I want to stitch on that again so bad. And Jane Hopkins, I feel the same way about that one. But it's also nice to have them done and framed and displayed, you know.
Absolutely. Did you want to show your project bag for that one?
Oh yeah, sure. I've got mine in a project keeper from Tiger Lily Designs.
Very pretty. My project bag is similar colors to yours.
Oh, pretty.
This is a project bag. This is from Buckleberry Quilts on Etsy.
Oh, I love those bags too.
I figured these colors went with the design.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
And then
do you do that? Do you try to match your project bag or your project folder colors to your project?
Well, let me give you a hint. This is the project keeper that I have our next one in. So does that answer your question?
I don't know. Does it? So yes, you do. Okay. All right. Our next one that we're working on is Tom's Foolery by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. We both downloaded it as a PDF from the website. And we are both using all of the called for DMC, but different fabrics. Let me put mine on my board here really quick.
You've got the best fabric on this one.
I have the best fabric?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am pretty good at picking out fabrics, so.
Yeah. You really did it on this one, girl. I love it. You ready?
All right, let's show it. Ooh. It's so cute.
Yes.
So I'm stitching mine on a 40 count lightning by Needle Bling Designs. And what about you?
18 count cream and sugar fiber on a whim. You've already seen that 2 or 3 times.
I love cream and sugar. That's one of the best fabrics.
So good.
Mm-hmm. And this is another one where we're staying together with each other and stitching the same things. So as you can see, we're kind of moving around a little bit. We started with that border. We did all the outlines of the diamonds, and then we started filling them in. I got a little bored with the fill-in, so you can see I have less filled in than Sarah does. But we decided to do some of the stuff inside, and so I'm enjoying that a little bit more because the border was getting a little tedious for me. So
I know. I'm so close though. I want to get that done.
Well, you're almost done with it. I just need to just have that maybe keep working on it. Maybe add a thread a day. You know, how hard would that be?
I know. Well, you know why I've gotten so much further is because I will literally grab this anytime we're going to be driving somewhere, or, you know, and I'll just do a little bit in the car, even if it's just 20 minutes. Like I can get 1 or 2 done, you know. And so that's how I've made progress.
I know. And Sarah tries to talk, you know, she tries to tell me like during those times, like I was going on vacation recently. She was like, you should take Tom's Foolery and work on your border. And I said, I don't want to.
I know. 2 times. There were 2 different occasions where I was like, you know what I would do if I were you? I'd take Tom's. And you're like, no.
I don't know. For some reason, that border to me, I don't know. I'm just not having fun with the border. I'm having fun with the other stuff.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
I will. I will.
Yeah, this is such a like there's so much stitching to this. Like it's crammed in there. There's really no extra space.
No.
And it's all
There's a
just
lot
wild
going on
and
in there.
crazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Once our video here is done, I'm excited to talk with Sarah and see where we're going to go next.
Yeah. Make another plan for the next month.
Another goal.
Yep. And
Okay.
we always say that our goals are just, it's fine if we don't meet them. It's just a goal, but we always do.
Yeah, we do.
And I think it helps that we're doing it together so much more than just on our own.
Yeah. Now the project bag I showed is from our friend Lori, the Grateful Needle. She gave this to me at StitchCon. So I had to put Tom's Foolery in there because look at those colors.
Perfect. Oh, I wish I had my bag that she made me to show. I was so surprised when she sent that to me, and I opened it and could not believe it was so beautiful. But I did show it on my last video. But
Yes.
It's downstairs. I didn't even bring it up here for this because it has a different stitch. It doesn't have one that we're both stitching in it.
That's okay. You showed
Yes.
it in your video. It's beautiful.
It is. So our next stitch that we're going to show, we have two more whips. And so this next one, I finished it. It's still a whip for Sarah. This was a stitch along that we did. I hosted with my local yarn shop / needlework shop. She just started getting into cross stitch. I just started learning to knit this past year, right when the owner, Ashley, of Paper Crane Yarns, my local yarn shop, she started to cross stitch. So she went to market and she brought this chart back. And when I went to see what she got at market, I saw it, wanted to stitch it. And I thought, let's do a stitch along together to, promote this beautiful pattern. So do you have the pattern on you? Can you hold that up? I
Yes.
don't have it right here. So this is by Pedal Pusher, and it's called Botanical Study #1. Stunning on that dark fabric. So yeah. I know a lot of people.
There's a version too on lighter fabric.
Yes, and both are beautiful. And I've seen everything in between because we've had a lot of people stitching this with us, and I've seen my friend Paula. Did you see her finish? I put it on my stories. She framed hers. It's in like this purplish fabric. I think it was like 2 days ago or something. Yeah, yes. I love that fabric.
Beautiful.
Yes. I can't remember the name of it now, but so let's show ours. We're doing the same color. We're both doing Picture This Plus Dusk. Mine is 16 count and yours is
36.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I only did 2 of the Weeks Dye Works flosses. I did this green and this blue color. All the rest I did the DMC. She has a DMC conversion in the chart, which I appreciate. And so that's the colors I used for the rest. But I used all the called for. And you can see I'm still working on mine. Since I showed it last, I finished like the flowers on the side here. There's like these little tiny flowers on the side. And I finished the stem here, and then I started working on those flowers. So I mentioned before, I am struggling a little bit to see on this fabric, so I only work on it when I can sit in the daylight. So it's taking me a little bit longer, but I'm still plugging away at it because I want to get it finished because yours is amazing. Thank you. Yeah, you'll get there. It's hard when you are limited on when you can work on something, for sure. But yeah, you'll get there, girl. And your fabric, I think, is darker than mine.
It's hard to tell because everything I showed looks darker than yours.
I know. Yeah, it's so
How are you gonna fully finish yours?
I'd like to get a frame.
Yeah.
I haven't measured it. Was it like 5 by 7 or something? I'm not really sure.
I don't know. It's not very big.
No.
And
I like the finish that she did on there.
Yeah, in the picture.
Because it's a bigger frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. But I'd like to just frame it, if I can find one that makes sense to fit.
Yeah. And did you want me to show the project keeper we kept it in? You probably put yours away already, huh?
I don't have mine with me, but please show yours.
Yes. So we had magic project folder matching. Did I say magic? We had magic matching project folders. Um, and they had these cute little Bigfoots, big feet.
Big feet.
What's the plural of Bigfoot? I don't know, but here they are.
But look at the colors, how well they went with that. It's like made for it. So
I know.
perfect.
Once we saw these colors, we're like, well, we know what we're putting in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got these at the Steel City Stitchers retreat. They were made by a beautiful lady named Thomasina. She's on Instagram as Paws, Paws 2, the number 2 stitch. I know she was going to open a Etsy shop, but I don't know if she has. But you can find her on Instagram. Her project keepers are beautiful.
Yes, so pretty. And I was not at that retreat either, but Sarah got me one of those project keepers and sent it to me. I don't know if you said that part, but
No, I don't think I did. But I had to buy Sarah one because she loves Bigfoot. She recently stitched the not hands-on design, Plum Street Samplers Bigfoot, what was it called?
Bigfoot Bunch.
Bigfoot Bunch. And I was like, oh, Sarah needs one of those.
I love it. Thank you.
Okay, we are down to our last whip, our last work in progress. Our last one is Plum Street Samplers Blackberry House. Love this one. And this was one of we didn't start this together. It was one that Sarah um, wanted to start, and I was like, you know what? I have that as a whip. Let's work on it together. So that's what we've been doing. So it's not one of the ones where we're like staying with each other and making goals. It's just like pulling it out every so often. Um, so Sarah has more progress on hers, but I'm working on it. All right, are you ready to show it?
I am.
Okay, let's do it. Oh, Sarah, yours looks so good.
Yours does too. I love the fabric I chose for this. I feel like the
Yes,
modeling is like the perfect
it
shade
is.
for this. I'm
So what
using,
fabric are you using?
it's a Picture This Plus Tyco. And it's 16 count. And I seem to remember when I watched your last whip parade, which if you haven't watched that yet, you need to go to Sarah's channel to watch. But you had a lot of Tyco.
I did, but my Tyco doesn't look like yours. Yours looks like you have some gray modeling in there.
Yeah.
Mine has like yellowish undertones, so it's a very different color than yours.
How funny.
I love yours. Now, yours reminds me of a fabric that I love from X2 Design called Rocky Mountain. It has that same exact modeling. And I have a whip on that. So that's what it looks like to me. It's fantastic.
It's so funny how the different fabrics take the dye differently. And
Absolutely.
it can be such a totally different look, same color.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm using a different fabric. Mine is pewter, 46 count pewter from Color and Cotton. And yeah, it's just like this gray color. It's very pretty. And I almost feel like it kind of has like purpley undertones, although I don't think that's really coming through. I'm using all the called for colors with the exception, I had to change my gray. I believe the called for is aged pewter
It
by
is.
Gentle Art, maybe.
It is.
And my aged pewter that I had in my stash was way too light. It was not showing up on this fabric. So I had to change my color. So I pulled out one of my Roxy Floss colors in the color Irony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It looks great.
other than that, I'm using all the called for colors.
I'm using almost all of the called for colors except for 4 DMC colors.
Yes.
A lot of
And my
times
favorite, I was just gonna say my favorite color in here is currant.
Mine too.
Oh, I love when I use that color.
I do too. I told you I want to do a monochromatic piece in that.
That would be beautiful.
I know. It's so pretty.
Pretty.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll get a chart and I'll look at how much of a color is used. And if it's not used a whole lot, I'm just going to use DMC.
That's really smart. Because when we showed Ann Richardson, the one that we did with the Vikki Clayton silks, hold on,
I've got mine.
Not to distract from what we were just showing, but Ann Richardson, as Sarah mentioned, had 7 Vikki Clayton silks in it. However, there was one silk that was only used in one place. Sarah's pointing to it, just those 2 flower stems. So it was like a dark green.
Yeah, and there were 2 other
used.
greens. Like we could have used one of those greens.
Yes. I know. As I was finishing it up, I texted Sarah. I'm like, am I crazy? Or did we only use that one color for those 2 flower stems? And she was like, no, that's what we did. So we have a lot of dark green Vikki Clayton silk.
Well, I have an idea for that because we barely used it. We should do a monochromatic piece with that. Like a small, like, or if we see anything that's like, oh, that's one color, keep that in the back of our mind because we have so much of it left. Honestly, we have so much of all the colors. It really didn't take a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have several left. I mean, I'm not mad about it. They're very pretty colors. So
and that dark green is really pretty. And we bought it as a set.
Yeah.
But had I been looking at that chart and I had seen it was only like that and I was buying individual colors, I wouldn't have bought that. I would have just used one of the other greens. Yeah.
But the set of them was only like $17. So like I'm not mad about it, but
no.
I am looking at it like, why did I Oh well. It's okay.
I know. I was like, where else is this color? Because I like to color complete.
Yes.
So I was trying to do everything in that green and I'm like, this is nowhere else. What?
Very interesting. And what bag are you keeping your Blackberry House in?
I have it in another project keeper. Looks like this.
It's very pretty.
Yes.
I'm keeping mine in a Michelle Lee Quilts.
Oh, that's
another
pretty.
Michelle Lee Quilts bag. Yes.
That's really pretty.
So that's it. I don't want to say like that's it, like that's all, but I mean, there was a lot.
That was a lot of stitching over a month or around. I'm not sure exactly when we did our last video, but
I think it's been a little over a month.
Has it? That's kind of what we're aiming for, like maybe a video every month or something. She and I put out videos on our own channels every other week. So I just put out one on my channel this past weekend, and Sarah, you're planning on doing that this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of alternate, and then that's fun. So this one's coming out like right in the middle of our 2 latest videos, so that's fun. But yeah, so I guess we're gonna make some more goals and get some more work. These are not the only stitches that we have in common. It's just the only ones that we focused on this month. So I have a feeling we're gonna stick with Serenity through this next month, but maybe we should look at some of the other things that we have. We have like Winter Rose Manor, that red one, Dasher and Dancer. What else? Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, who knows? We may start something new if the if the mood hits. Who knows?
I need to finish some things first.
Sometimes we do that though.
Yeah, we do.
But who knows what you'll see next time? But for sure, you'll be seeing more stitching and more work on these whips that we have going. So thank you so much for joining us. The way that we post these videos is we actually both post them to each one of our channels. So if you have a specific question for me, if you don't mind to leave it as a comment on my channel, Handmade by Sarah W. And if you have a specific question for Sarah, her channel is Sarah's Stitchery, so make sure to send it to her there. But you also can reach us both on Instagram anytime. Send us a message, ask us a question, or comment, on our videos, and we will try to get those answered for you. Yes. Thank you for joining us so much. Hashtag Stitching with the Sarahs if you're joining us on anything that we're stitching. And, we look forward to seeing you next time. Do you have anything else to add, or?
No, I was just going to, add on and say, if you're using our hashtag, please tag us. You're not bothering us if you tag us. We want to see what you're stitching. We like to repost it to our stories and share it with people so they can see what you're stitching. And also, if you would take a second to like our videos and subscribe to our channels, that would mean so much to us.
Yes, so we really, really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for spending time with us today, guys.
It's been fun. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.